Buongiorno, buongiorno. My name is Leonardo da Vinci. You probably know me as a great artist. Some of my most famous works are the Mona Lisa, the Last Supper, Salvator Mundi, and my favorite. This is a masterpiece. Not the most symmetrical perfect. However, you may not know that I was also an inventor, an engineer, and yes, a mathematician by profession. Today, during the year of your club's 25th anniversary, I would like to welcome you to the Da Vinci Principles Part 3, based on the book, How to Think Like Leonardo da Vinci. That's me, 7 Steps to Genius Every Day, by Michael J. Gelb. Our hope is to enlighten while celebrating the 25th anniversary of your club, the Rotary Club of Carroll Creek. And now to introduce my good friend and your host for today, Mr. Michael Moore.
Welcome to the Da Vinci Principles. Today's principle is corporealita, which is the cultivation of grace, ambidexterity, fitness, and poise. Before we begin today's program, let's introduce the Carroll Creek Rotary Wednesday Morning Live players. First up, she's good, but she's not an angel. She does sin, but she's not the devil. She is just a small girl in a big world trying to find someone to love. If the answer is blowing in the wind, you can find her there with a flowy dress on. The ever beautiful, always enticing Marilyn Monroe. With 2 buttes and a housefrau in jail, this team would be in real trouble without our next guest. He significantly raises the mean IQ wherever he goes. He has no special talents, he's just passionately curious. E equals MC Shield Co squared. Please welcome Luke Einstein. Next up, is that product in your hair or are you just happy to see me? She would kiss a frog even if there were no promise of a prince popping out of it. She loves frogs. She would lick them. She's gotten dolled up and starred in Hollywood classics like There's Something About Mary, Charlie's Angels. She's even the voice of Princess Fiona from Shrek. Please welcome Cameron Diaz. Daytime television wouldn't be the same without our next guest. Her net worth is $650 million. She can carve a turkey with a shiv. She's got secret recipes, or at least she knows someone with the inside scoop. Don an apron, don a jumpsuit. She can make anything look delicious. Please say hello to Martha Mary Berry Stewart. Next, he's known only as Steve. Why? Because Justice is blind and Kevin Costner already had the role of bodyguard. He's a member of a premier federal law enforcement agency. He uses a fake rubber arm so he can conceal an Uzi with an extended clip. Why? Because he's been protecting presidents since you were in diapers. He's Chuck Norris, aka Steve. And now, if you'll please rise for the introduction of our presidential delegation. Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States. It's tremendous. You're gonna love it. He has the highest IQ on his team. He's making Rotary great again. President Donald David Trump. She's as close to being past president as she actually was being president. She keeps her Rotary emails on a private server. She knows it takes a village to get the popular vote. She made hard choices, but she's stronger together. I'm with her. It's Hillary Roth Clinton. If I had $1 every time I saw our next guest, I'd say that'd be a little redundant. The British are coming, the British are coming. Not to worry, our fearless leader is in the house and he cannot tell a lie. Please welcome George Fitzwashington. Our next guest probably should have opted for the matinee. He lives by a motto, better to remain silent and thought a fool than to speak up and remove all doubt. Now I wonder how you got this role. Probably your height. Please welcome President Abraham Lincoln. You've met the players, now let's tell you a little bit about our game. Each player will be given a question to answer, 1 point for each correct answer. The team with the most points wins, obviously. Before we begin Game 1, I've just been informed by our presidential bodyguard, thank you, that we have a surprise for you that we think will be fun. As we said before, corporealita requires grace, ambidexterity, fitness, and poise. Backstage, before today's show, our players did a juggling exercise to warm up. What they didn't know is that they were being videotaped. Let's see which player can demonstrate corporeality the best.
All right, that's it. Let's get him.
Let's begin our game. Presidents, we'll start with you. First question for President Trump. What is this drawing called?
Well, Michael, as you know, I'm a stable genius, so of course I know the answer. It's the canon of proportions. But let me say, DaVinci's just wrong. I know, you think he's a bright guy, but he's just wrong, okay? Been accused of having small hands. Ladies, let me just tell you, it's tremendous. You're gonna love it.
Correct. The canon of proportions was considered the principal source of proportion among the classical orders of architecture. Did not work so good for the Tower of Pisa. It was based on the canon of Giuseppe. He's my cousin.
Our next question, Hillary. Question, there were 47 members when the RCCC was chartered on this August 6, 1993. Name 3 of the original 11 charter members who are still in the club today.
Oh, sorry, Mike. I was checking my personal emails on my personal server. The only thing I can think of is Jennifer Flowers, Paula Jones, and Monica Lewinsky. No. Okay, I'm going to have to make some hard choices and come up with a new answer. I'm going to say Ted Gregory, Connie Phillips, and Tim McShay.
Not bad.
Well, Madam Secretary, the real icon of human potential is represented in the canon of proportions. Other close examples of human potential include the other current charter members of your club. Ariel Macher, Andy Baum, Shalom my mishpacha, Jeffrey McAvoy, is he here? Fred Niehoff, I hear he joined just because. Andy Radcliffe, captain for life of your undefeated softball team, and his brother Lee Radcliffe, a proud graduate of Miss Grove's nursery and a Good Shepherd kindergarten, class of 1959. Joshua Brooks, he's always making Seersucker great again. Jill Cody, she would run from the Undertaker, but she lives with him. And Clyde Hicks, he's been a purveyor of the great outdoors since I was a boy, back when it took a village to raise a Rotarian.
Next question. Question 3. President Washington, this is for you. What is another name used for this drawing?
It appears to be King George doing jumping jacks, naked. Very disturbing, but I'm informed that it is in fact the Vitruvian Man.
Correct. The Vitruvian Man, perfectly proportioned, which is not to be confused with Yo Wayne Greenfield, the Brunswick Man.
Next question is for you, President Lincoln.
4-7.
Question, Leonardo reasoned that arteriosclerosis causes accelerated aging and is attributed the result to blank.
Like our forefathers, it's lack of exercise.
Evidently so.
Yes, a lack of exercise leads to arteriosclerosis. The same effect has been observed in aging members of the Noon Club.
Our celebrity team, this one's for you, Miss Monroe. Question, Da Vinci's life was an expression of an ancient classical ideal of mens sano and corpore sano, which means...
Well, it sort of sounds like using the men's sauna at the Y. Not that I ever would, that's so silly. But it really means a sound body and a sound mind.
And when using the men's sauna at the Y, I find it is best to be able to snap a rat tails with your towel with both the hands. Remember, ambidexterity is a good. So if you're good with your right, then snap a rat tail with your left. And if you're good with your left, then snap it with your right.
Next question. This is for you, Einstein. What is the Cartwright Challenge and how did it get its name?
Ah, yes, yes. Bill Cartwright. In Germany, we call this the Wagenrecht Hair Disposal Room. And it is a calculation of the money that you must pay the club for the number of years you have been married. You calculate it as E equals MC to the Z. E is the total value of money, M is the number of years you have been married, C is the dollar value per year of your marriage, and Z is 1 unless you have married a relative, and then it is 2 for me.
Yes. These are directly related to Einstein's theory of the relativities, which is a m times a c squared equal a negative e. M is a marriage, C is a children, and the E equal a negative energy. He discovered that if you are married and have a children, that the number of children you have decreases your energy reserves exponentially. And this will speed up the aging process. And if it left unmanaged, well, eventually you lose your freaking mind.
Next question, and this is for you, Miss Diaz. True or false, Leonardo painted The Last Supper both left-handed and right-handed?
Wait, both hands? He used both hands? I mean, if he painted, what else could he do with both hands? True.
While I was a naturally left-handed, I cultivated ambidexterity consciously and regularly switching my hands when working on The Last Supper and other masterpieces. These have been most useful as I have begun to learn a new game of baseball, which I think will be very, very good to me.
Next question, and this is for you, Ms. Stewart. What is the name of the award given to the Carroll Creek Rotarian who exemplifies service above and beyond self for a specific service project?
Oh, that's easy. These guys, they came to visit me all the time while I was in jail. It was Ted Gregory and Bernard Gwen, and they received the Chris Judd Service Above Self Award.
This is a very catchy name for an award. I hear they might make a catchy name movie also. Bernard and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I think this would be a good movie, very original. Michael Moore, your game show host, he could even do the screenplay. Yes, I think this will be good. It could be very beneficial and even fair to all concerned.
Our next question for President Trump. Question, this Chicago attorney formed the Rotary Club of Chicago on February 23, 1905, so professionals with diverse backgrounds could exchange ideas, form meaningful, lifelong friendships, and give back to their communities. What is the name of this visionary man?
Chicago. You know, the Trump Tower in Chicago is a huge success. The answer to your question is Paul Harris. If I told you how high my IQ is, and I retain these facts because I have such a high IQ, and one of these facts that I know is Paul Harris was almost disbarred. He was almost disbarred because he had an affair with a claim. Her name was Hillary.
Fake news.
Coincidence? I think not.
Fake news.
The founder of a Rotary and the namesake of awards bestowed on those who put a service above a self and their own a treasure to be used for good around the world. Rotary has a touch on nearly every part of the world today as a force for good in humanity. And all this begun by a lawyer. The world never ceases to amaze. Fantastico.
Ms. Monroe, back to you. Question. During RCCC's 25-year history, the club has completed 4 big projects. Name them.
Okay, so they did the community bridge, which goes north to south. They did the they did the Santa Powell Center. Oh no, it's just the Powell Center. I just love the bearded guy. And they did the Baker Park Band Show, and it's much like Ford's Theater. And then they did the Murals for Hope at FMH.
Correct. Yes. Your club is famous for its next big projects. In fact, they contribute in ways of artistic beauty to Frederick, such as the community bridge, and form and function such as the band shell. As you think of your next big project, may I make a suggestion that promotes the aspects of corporality, such as a grace and a poise, to people in the community that need it the most? Yes, the Noon Club.
Okay, next question then. This is for you, President Washington. Question: which two members of the RCCC are former Rotary International District governors?
Who are these governors you refer to, and from what colonies? I trust they are not Tories. I must admit, it vexes me that I do not know their names. Wait, I've just received a letter from my trusted aide-de-camp, Colonel FedEx. Oh, he informs me they are Andy Baum and Paul Fry.
This is quite an honor and achievement. Andy shoots boundaries with a handgun, and then he eats a cold, dead gefilte fish. And Paul, I understand he's a published author that has broken down barriers of literature. By the way, you can buy his book, Dump the Incumbents, for $12.95 or about 21,000 lira.
Next question, and this is for you, Ms. Stewart, again. Leonardo said, every man wishes to make money to give to the destroyers of life. Who are the destroyers of life?
Well, that, again, another easy. Anybody who can't cook. Oh, but that's not the answer you're looking for. How about the doctors?
So this is a hard one. It is not good to destroy life, which happens when we misuse medical professionals. Fortunately, you have some good doctors in your club. They're not so much about being destroyers of life. Instead, Dr. Pitts fixes your mouth and raises money for your foundation. That guy could sell dull colors to an 18th century impressionist. Dr. Hogan help you with your skin. Dr. Bomba help you feel good in your skin. Dr. Brahmer help a Rotarian have future little Rotarians. Dr. Toothman straightens the teeth of your future Rotarians. Doctors McLaughlin and Hinchman Ortiz work on the sore backs of Rotarians, especially after Oktoberfest. Dr. Henry fixes your feet from too much Oktoberfest. And finally, Dr. Ledbetter, well, he fixes your bones and your joints after Oktoberfest, or if you're just old and in the Noon Club.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a tie.
I've just been informed that Leonardo has entered the studio and will officiate the tiebreaker. So, all the way from the 16th century, please put your hands together for Leonardo da Vinci.
Buongiorno, Michael. Buongiorno.
Hello.
Buongiorno. Good to see you.
So, backstage before we started, each team captain was asked to select a special guest in the event of a tie. So, Marilyn Monroe has selected Rocky Balboa, and Hillary Roth Clinton has selected Don Vited Corleone. So, let's welcome our new players to the contest. Next token Catholic Italian hails from a different countryside with pastoral views of the rough streets of Philadelphia. He's an all-or-nothing brawler, and he's been pounding hanging meat since in puberty. He's lean, he's mean, he's Rocky Balboa.
Buongiorno, buongiorno.
Welcome to the contest.
Oh, thank you.
Our next guest hails from the Sicilian countryside. Luckily today is the day of his daughter's wedding, so he's accepted our invite to join us on the show. He may have a meatball in his mouth, but he's always looking good in a tux. Please welcome Don Vited Corleone, the Godfather.
Buongiorno.
Hey, your Godfather.
Very well, then we'll get started. How about, this game is called Wise or Unwise. Please direct your attention to the monitor. Leonardo encouraged learn to preserve your health and offered specific advice on maintaining well-being. To Leonardo's list of wise rules, we have added some unwise rules. Let's see if our guests can choose the difference between the two. 1 point for each correct answer. Let's begin. So, question 1, Don Vited, this is for you. We'll begin with rule. Beware of anger and avoid grievous moods. Wise or unwise?
You speak of moods. Sometimes I'm in the mood for revenge. I find revenge is a dish best served cold. I say wise.
Correct, Godfather. Anger is not so good for you. When you get angry, horses will lose their heads, and people swim with the fishes.
Question 2, Rocky, this is to you. Now, you try and knot this up here. Rule, be covered well at night. Wise or unwise?
Oh yeah, absolutely, that's wise. You gotta be covered well at night, because I steal the covers from Adrian, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, Adrian? Yo, Adrian! Yo, Adrian!
Yeah, this is correct, Rocky, because when you are not covered well at night, you wake up looking more like your cousin Paulie than yourself.
Godfather, let's see if you can knot this up here. Next question. Rule, eat only white meat. Wise or unwise?
Meat. Eat meat. I'm going to give you an offer you can't refuse. Eat more fruits and vegetables. I say this is unwise.
Correct, Godfather. Meat is not so good. Focus on the vegetables. But I say it's okay to refuse a Brussels sprout.
All right, question 4, Balbogi, back to you. Rule, exercise daily. Wise or unwise?
Oh, exercise, very important when you train for a big fight. But Mick says we can only exercise 3 to 4 times a week.
Correct, Rocky. Exercise moderately. By the way, you're much better at exercising when you had all 10 fingers. Yeah.
Godfather, rule, eat only what you want and sup light. Wise or unwise?
Are you some kind of Hollywood Pinocchio that cries like a woman? Of course this is wise.
Well, this is correct, Godfather. By the way, it's not good to tell the Godfather when to sup and when not to sup.
Next question, Rocky, this is for you. Do not be with the belly upwards and the head lowered. Wise or unwise?
Yeah, that wise. You don't want your head lower. You want to keep your head up. And that's what Mick tells me. And he also says I should probably stop taking punches off my face.
Well, this is correct, Rocky, because if your head is below your belly, well, you have a better circulation, and you at least feel like you punch in the face.
Question for the Godfather here. Rule, chew well. Wise, unwise?
Have you no respect? You ask me about my chewing? This is wise, you Pinocchio.
Well, correct, Godfather. If you don't chew well, you have a problem in your belly, and it leads to a bigger problem on your backside.
Okay, Rocky, this next one's for you. We're neck and neck here, so rule. When walking, it's best to slide your feet along the ground. Wise or unwise?
That's very unwise. You got to have good footwork in the feet, otherwise you get knocked in the next week.
This is very good. Correct, Rocky. If you go through a life of shuffling your feet, you never catch the chickens, you only catch the punches, and you never become a champion.
Godfather, this question's for you. Let's get personal. Rule, go to the toilet regularly. Wise, unwise?
Oh, it's an old habit, and I try not to be careless. I say this is wise.
This is correct, Godfather. If you careless with your toilet, then you need to take more fiber, and you blow up like a tick.
Okay, Rocky, to you. Rule, shun wantonness and pay attention to diet. Wise, unwise?
Yeah, it's very wise. Diet is very important. What I like to do, I wake up in the morning, I crack some eggs, I try to drink the eggs out of a big glass. You ever try that? Hey, Godfather, you ever try that?
Well, it is correct, Rocky. You have to pay attention to how many wonton you eat because you need to leave a room for your fortune cookies.
Godfather, only a few here to go. Rule, let your wine be consumed on an empty stomach. Wise or unwise?
Let me ask you, Leonard, do you spend time with your family? Because a man that doesn't spend time with his family, he could never be a real man. And I say you drink wine on an empty stomach, you're going to get drunk. That's not good for the family. This is unwise.
This is correct, Godfather. Unwise for you and your family. Because if you drink too much of wine on an empty stomach, well, then you end up with a regret known as the wine of goggles.
Rocky, to you, rule, consult your doctors regularly. Wise? Unwise?
Oh, yeah, doctors. I don't trust doctors. They always shine a light in my eye, ask me how many fingers I'm holding up. They always tell me I look punchy. Do I look punchy to you?
No, Rocky, you don't look punchy and correct. It's a good to take a responsibility for our own health. By the way, as you go from a Rocky age to a you age, you probably have to see your doctors way more often.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a tie.
I want a rematch.
Ain't gonna be no rematch.